Oh, America, don't you dare be sour. Clap for your favorite Boston Bruins blog and feel the power. It's a new skate. Yes, it is. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Optional Skate. Me llamo Greg Ezel, and I'm joined today by John Fusil. John, how are you?
I'm a lot better than Team USA.
Yes.
And I'm a dumpster fire today, and I'm better than Team USA.
Today?
Well, every day.
And Robb Pizzuto. Robb, how are you?
I too am better than Team USA, and I'm not nearly as good as Phil Kessel though.
Oh God, Phil Kessel. I want to talk about that later because I want to talk about fucking David Backes. That son of a bitch. And we are once again 3/6 of the greatest Bruins blog that you have maybe never come across, known as Days of Yore. And this is our flagship hockey podcast. So today, it is just Boys Night Out.
All right, Boys Night Out!
I want to talk about Days of Yore on Patreon.
I still think that sounds like a Pokemon.
Yeah, it does.
Patreon?
Patreon, I choose you. So we are on Patreon, and we are doing it because we want to write about hockey full-time, but we also believe that as we write about hockey full-time, we should get paid for it. We're no different than CSNNE. We're no different than WEEI. We're no different than all these people that are actually getting paid to cover hockey. Except the Boston Bruins will probably answer their emails and not ours. Which, by the way, we're going on 3 days running. They still haven't answered us.
I didn't know that EEI actually covered hockey.
Yeah, DJ Bean does it.
Oh, right. I forgot about DJ Bean. He's like
Yeah.
the one person I like over there.
Shouts to DJ Bean. You do a good job. We are launching this crowdfunding style campaign because we don't want to have to go to a website and tone down how we write and tone down our photoshops, and we still want to do everything that we've been doing. We just feel like we should be compensated for it, and we can eventually do it full time. So if you want to go over to support us, head over to patreon.com/daysofyore. If you're in the $10 or higher tier, you will get the optional skate and Mommy's Little Trash Cast early. If you don't have any money to give us, that's fine. Head over to soundcloud.com/daysofyore or search iTunes and Google Play for Days of Yore. We have all that stuff over there. If you're subscribed to youtube.com/daysofyore, I've been uploading the optional skates there as well. That is all the housekeeping. Anything I missed, gentlemen?
Don't think so.
No, I think you nailed it, just like, Team USA nailed that roster.
Kaboom! All right, let's jump on the back of that. World Cup of Hockey. So 2 weeks ago, we talked about our little preview, Robb, Bree, and myself. Now, we're balls deep in the tournament. The preliminaries are ending, right? And Group play is now ending.
Yeah.
So group play is ending. USA, embarrassed in this tournament. Got absolutely shit-stomped Tuesday against Canada. They lost 4-2. Piz, run down the standings for the people so we can paint the picture of what's going to happen.
The standings for the people?
Yes.
Well, as of right now, well, actually not as of right now, just in general, Canada, Europe, Sweden, and North America have all clinched, if I'm correct, which I think I am. So that's what we have to look forward to. I'm not sure. Check me on this. Can does the seeding still get affected at all by the remaining games?
I could be wrong. As of right now, Russia and Finland play on Thursday. So today, Wednesday, when we record all of our optional skates, Patreon people get it on Friday, so they'll get it on the 23rd. So as of this recording, Finland and Russia still have to play. From what I'm looking at in the standings, if Russia wins that game, they will tie North America in points. If they tie North America in points, it looks like they have the tiebreaker because they beat them 4-3 on Monday.
Okay.
So Russia can still get in.
Okay.
But Group A, Canada and Team Europe, mind you, the team that I backed, Team Europe, the underdogs, the little Europeans that could, 2-0 right now. They beat up on Team USA, which isn't saying much, and they beat up on the Czech Republic. Again, not saying much. And they're losing to Canada right now, 1-0. But that's okay.
That's because Brad Marchand's future teammate, Sidney Crosby, scored.
John, you shut your
stop
fucking
that.
mouth right now.
Stop that right now. That didn't take long.
No, not at all. I was waiting for it. So if any of the teams surprise you, positively or negatively?
You know, I want to say with the just on paper with the talent they have, I did expect Team North America to be good, but I don't think I expected them to be this guy. I know they lost against Russia, but they outchanced them. It seemed like for the most part they outplayed them. My boy Matt Murray, maybe a questionable goal or two in that game, but I think they've been ridiculously impressive. Because there's a stupid notion in the NHL where, you know, leadership and experience trumps youth. But this Team North America, I forget which GM said it, and I'm probably butchering the quote, but he said Team North America is probably better than at least 20 teams in the NHL. I'd put that as high as 28, 29, 30 teams. I think they've been incredibly impressive. They've been a ridiculously fun team to watch. I even snuck some time today at work. I hope no one at work listens to this show. But I was in a terribly boring meeting. I turned on that game because I couldn't resist. That's how good you have to watch that team. They're so good.
Yeah, they are very good, and it's fun to watch the young kids play because you can tell that they're enjoying it. When they played Team Europe in the first preliminary game and they smoked them, just absolutely battered the shit out of them, I thought that they were gonna run away with everything, but. Matt Murray looks like maybe he came down from his little Stanley Cup playoff high. But who knows? Again, he's playing all-star teams other than the U.S. because they are not good.
Well, I think the unfortunate thing for other teams in the tournament, too, is in the playoffs, whenever he did have a bad game, I think I said bat game. Jesus, John. Bad game. He came back the next time and just annihilated people. So, I mean, I know they started John Gibson today. I didn't watch the whole game. I'm not sure how well he did or didn't do. I know it was 4-3, but if next time they play Matt Murray, I guarantee he'll shut that stuff down.
Your boy John Gibson.
Oh, I'm always in love with him in fantasy. I don't know why, because he's always hurt.
He is always hurt, and every year you take a flyer on him.
He's like the Andrew Ference of goalies before Andrew Ference got his groin fixed.
Oh my God, it was funny because Andrew Ference retired, right, and everyone's like, oh, Andrew Ference, he'll always be a Bruin. He was so good as a Bruin. And I'm like, wait a second. When Andrew Ference signed his last 4-year deal with the Bruins or whatever it was, people fucking hated Andrew Ference. People were calling him glass groin. Somebody.
I think we were calling him glass groin.
Yeah, probably.
I do recall a Photoshop with the glass dildo.
Yeah.
I was wondering if that was us. Because I was
us.
Like, someone, I think it was us.
Me, actually.
I did a Photoshop with Andrew Ference and a glass dildo.
100% recycled glass. Because it is Ference.
True.
And he loves him some trees.
True. But I just found it funny that people fucking hated Andrew Ference when he was first with the Bruins. He was always hurt, and he wasn't great. And it was 2010. He just all of a sudden it clicked, and everything worked.
Everybody hated him until that game where he had the glove malfunction, as he called it, and flipped off. Yeah.
The middle finger game was fucking amazing. We have so many Stone Cold Photoshops because of that.
The best part was, this offseason, I saw way too many people online well, if the Bruins need defense, they could look into bringing back Andrew Ference. Yeah, because bringing back another 100-year-old guy is going to help the defense. Sorry, went off on a tangent there.
Settle down, John. We're still talking about the World Cup of Hockey. Rob, what team have you been surprised at?
Well, I wasn't, unlike John, I wasn't really surprised by Team North America because I was all in on Team North America. I thought I was being foolishly optimistic on how good they would be. I had a lot of faith in them. Two teams that surprised me is Team Europe because I didn't expect them to do well at all. Sorry, Greg. I really thought they were going to suck. I thought they were going to be the Team USA of the World Cup of Hockey. And then the other team is Team USA. I didn't think they had a great team, but I thought they had enough talent to beat Czech in Europe for the second spot going on. I didn't expect them to just absolutely fucking collapse like they did. I was looking at the statistics for Team USA earlier, and only 6 people have a point, and that's a point. Nobody has 2 points on Team USA. McDonough, Oshie, Pavelski, Kane, Riemsdyk, and Stepan are the only people, as of right now, with points on this goddamn team.
It's pretty bad. Looking at the ESPN, the World Cup hockey standings, the U.S. has scored 2 goals in 2 games. The only team to score worse than that is Finland with 1. Team USA, really bad. And let's talk about Team USA because it's a big deal, especially after their loss against Canada, their poor performance, and their roster overall that is comprised of people that would be good in a 2007 All-Star game. You know what I mean? TJ Oshie, really, I think at the core of American hockey, TJ Oshie said it perfectly. Quote, if it comes to 100% skill, they win. 100% grit, we win. End quote. I think what you're looking at right there is what encompasses the problem with American hockey as a whole. It's buzzwords. It's grit and heart and sandpaper and balls. And I know a lot of people like to use it because it plays up the dramatic angle of hockey, but it doesn't fucking work. And if you can't build a team on skill, grit, if you're a fourth liner, fine. Go out there, throw a big check. Be Sean Thornton. Maybe get in a fight to rile the people up. But if you're relying on grit to play a nation that invented the fucking sport and have seemingly mastered it, you're gonna get your doors blown off. And that's the difference between the USA program and the Canadian program.
I'm so glad you brought up that quote by TJ Oshie because it pissed me off because I kind of like TJ Oshie, and it was so disheartening to hear him say that shit. If you have grit and you're a skilled player, great, fine. That only makes you better. That only makes you more effective. But it's not something, like you said, to build a team around. USA, a lot of people are saying that USA built their team specifically to beat Canada, and that was their mistake. Well, you didn't beat Canada, and how the hell did you think that you were going to be able to beat Canada with this team?
Yeah, because Grit's going to do really good against a team who scratched Claude Giroux. Claude Giroux was in the press box. That's how impressive the skill level on Canada is. And Team USA was like, oh, well, we'll just get more hits than them. While Brad Marchand, Sidney Crosby, and Patrice Bergeron literally skated circles around that team last night. Fucking a team like TJ Oshie, the only thing that guy is good at is shootouts, okay? All right, sure, he'll be a great cop in Missouri, great at shootouts. Not so much great against Canada.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, my God, John. Pew, 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 pew. So, you look at the roster, right? Loaded with grit. Fucking Brandon Dubinsky probably brought in just to play against Sidney Crosby, right? Because he played him pretty well. Fucking guy was scratched yesterday. And then he was scratched for, Justin Abdelkader. Did I say that right?
Who cares? He's trash.
It's just like, I don't understand how you can build a roster full of Dubinsky and Abdelkader and blah, 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 and leave out guys like Kessel, Okposo, Tyler Johnson. You could even say a puck-moving defenseman like Torrey Krug. I know a lot of people don't like Torrey Krug, but the dude can move a puck, and I think he's better than fucking a guy like Matt Niskanen, who, as the legend goes, is still looking for his skates after he got fucking deked out of him last night.
Not even just Krug. Shattenkirk, Justin Falk down in Carolina is amazing.
Yeah.
It's not like he's just offensive either. He seems pretty competent defensively. And I like to your Tyler Johnson point. I'm obviously a Tyler Johnson fanboy. People said, "Oh, he didn't make the team. He didn't have a great season." Well, look at the last month of the season to the playoffs when he wasn't injured. He was back to being Tyler Johnson. The guy always gets a lot better when the pressure's on. He's phenomenal in the playoffs for Tampa Bay the past few seasons. You don't think in a short tournament like this with something on the line, the guy would have lit it up? It's ridiculous that someone like him was sitting on the couch, probably with Phil Kessel and his dog.
Yeah, and I was actually looking it up before the podcast. I wanted to bring up Tyler Johnson's stats. He had 2 years ago when they went to the Stanley Cup Finals in 14-15, he had 29 goals. He had 72 points in 77 games. And he had 29 goals in the playoffs. He had 13 goals. And he had, I believe, 17 points out of like 22 games. Something like that. Hold on. 13 goals, 23 points in 26 games. So the dude can play. And yeah, he was kind of a shit baby last year. He complained a little bit, but Stevie Yzerman, greatest fucking GM, current GM, was just like, yeah, I'm not trading you. Because everyone's like, oh, he's got to trade him. He's like, no, you know what? I'm not trading him. Guy plays in the playoffs. He had 17 points in 17 games. He was a point-per-game player in the playoffs.
I think that was actually Druin, not Johnson.
No, I'm looking at it right now. Tyler Johnson.
I meant in terms of the trade. Druin.
Oh, that was Druin.
Force his way out.
Yeah, that was Druin.
All right.
Tyler Johnson was just like, I'm awesome. I'll stay.
I got him a little confused.
Well, I mean, they're both awesome.
But I mean, if the dude's a point-per-game player in the playoffs, he should be on this roster. Phil Kessel should have been named on this roster, even if he wasn't going to play because of his wrist issue.
The thing is, when they first announced the roster, he wasn't injured. And then when they did a couple of injury replacements, he still didn't come out with the injury. And then finally he was like, I'm not getting an invite. I'm going to get surgery. He took himself out. But the Team USA had plenty of time to call, at least ask him. Sure, he might not have been able to play in the tournament eventually, but you didn't even call the guy.
Yeah, there were several players who were called and offered a spot, and they turned it down. Krejci was going to be in the World Cup of Hockey, and he backed out because of injury. So that's not an excuse.
And it all you know where it all starts? The fucking head coach.
Oh, John Tortorella is terrible. He's good for a soundbite, and that's it.
I was excited that Tortorella was going to be the coach of Team USA, not because I think he has any skill at all, because I at least thought he'd be entertaining, and I thought USA would be good enough to make it through despite having Tortorella as a coach. And boy, did they take a shit all over that.
Yeah, I mean, John Tortorella, okay, I've never been a John Tortorella fan. Outside of like the whole Brooksy soundbite, I don't find the guy useful at all. Last night, his fucking second line was Patrick Kane. Say what you want about Patrick Kane. I think he's a piece of shit. I don't think he should be in the NHL, but he's good at playing hockey. Okay? His fucking second line mate was Abdelkader last night. You know what? Want to know the second line of Team Canada? Tavares, Getzlav, and Stamkos. Are you fucking kidding me? That is NHL 17 Ultimate Team status.
And again, not to beat a dead Sarah Jessica Parker, but your Team USA had Abdelkader when that's Canada's second line. I understand the talent level is way deeper in Canada, but when you're looking at the roster they're putting together, why was Abdelkader even in your phone call list? That guy. Some people like him shouldn't even have been on the team. I don't understand what Team USA got this idea that they were built to beat Canada. That was their big line before the thing. Oh, this team's built to beat Canada, built to beat Canada. They couldn't beat Canada's under-18 team with that roster.
You look at Team North America, and I guarantee the next time this tournament goes on, the U.S. will try to get Team North America out of the tournament. Because right now they're being shown up by a bunch of 23-year-olds. You know what I mean? And you see a guy like Dylan Larkin, who's going to be on who could be on the U.S. team the next time they do this if they stick to like the 3 or 4 year plan. He could not even be on this team because of the way they're building these type of rosters. It's as a U.S. hockey fan, it's embarrassing.
Well, that's the thing. Everybody complained on Twitter about making excuses for Team USA. Like, oh, if they had players like Johnny Gaudreau from Team North America, okay, great. Let's say Johnny Gaudreau, he would have been a vast improvement to that team. That kid's awesome. But all right, if you take Team USA took some players from Team North America, well then McDavid's on Team Canada. There you go, cancels out Gaudreau. So I mean, don't make excuses for Team USA saying Team North America took their talent. Team USA was just terrible management, terrible coach, terrible roster construction. It was more terrible than Justin's face.
Suck it, Justin.
He won't listen.
I know you don't listen anyway. Yeah, I just said the same thing.
Nice.
It's just like Lombardi from the Kings put this whole Jimmy Jam together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It has the fucking Kings fingerprints all over it. Has the Kings fingerprints all over it. Because this is the type of hockey that they won cups, This is the type of hockey that they were playing when they won the Stanley Cup multiple times. But they don't have the good defensive group that they did when they were winning those Stanley Cups, like guys like Drew Doughty and shit like that. They have fucking I don't even know who their defensemen are. I don't even care. I don't even care. Like, I watch these games, and I'm just like, this team is so fucking terrible.
Well, that's the thing, to your point, when the Kings won the Stanley Cup, Dean Lombardi trying to build the same team. I still hate this grit bullshit, but that type of roster construction works better in an NHL playoff situation where it's over a longer haul, not in a short tournament like this. And, I will say, too, just to harp, I guess, on how bad their roster was, I know I love Jonathan Quick probably more than I should, but in a short tournament like this, where your defense was crap, how did Corey Snyder not get a start? That kid's unbelievable, and he plays on a terrible, terrible New Jersey team, and he still does well. So he's used to having shit for defense in front of him. You couldn't even give that guy a start.
It's just like, oh my god. And you bring in 32-year-old David Backes, who plays on the third line, and then you bring in guys like Niskanen and fucking Jack Johnson, and it's just, come on, stop. Bring the young kids in, build a skill line, have a coach who can coach skilled hockey and doesn't play like it's the early 90s fucking clutch and grab bullshit, and maybe you'll win a game against these talented teams. Maybe you'll beat a team like fucking, not even Canada. Maybe you'll beat Team Europe, who honestly, they're 2-0, they're undefeated, they're 2-0, but they played the United States and they played the Czech Republic, the fucking bottom of the barrel. Okay, so they're not slaying against the big dogs because they're down right now to Canada 1-0. So they might lose to Canada, but
it looks like Tays just scored right before the end of the first, so it's 2-0 now.
All right, so it's 2-0. So the U.S. team should beat Czech Republic, and they probably should have beaten the European team, but it's comprised of a bunch of third and fourth liners with guys like Kane sprinkled in, who has to play with all these fucking schmuckles.
Well, I kind of saw it like as the Bruins-Canadiens thing too, because clearly over the past few years, the Canadians are so far in the Bruins' head that I often feel like before the game even starts, the Bruins have lost. Because they always fall for the Canadians' games. They take all these dumb penalties. With Team USA, they're the Bruins in this case, obviously. Going into the tournament, they couldn't shut up about Canada. They were just Canada. There's a bunch of other teams in the tournament. I think John Tortorella even came out and said, Canada's our championship game. No, getting to a championship game would be your championship game, not your second game in the round robin play. It's just a bad philosophy up and down. And you got David Backes, who again, I'm a big Backes fanboy, but then saying stupid shit again with the hockey players. They give such basic answers, and they never like to ruffle feathers. So you can't tell if he's just towing the company line or honestly believes this. He's coming out and saying, "Oh no, we with this roster, this is how we should be constructed to compete in international play." It's like, if you honestly believe that, then the problem's with the players too, not just how they were constructed necessarily, but with the actual play. If Team USA thinks this is the way to play hockey, that just shows why they're a laughingstock.
And the sad thing is, I get if David Backes is going to toe the company line, I get it because it's probably a payday. You know what I mean? But so last night, Phil Kessel tweeted. You ready to talk about the Kessel tweet?
Yes, let's do it.
Phil Kessel tweeted, "Just sitting around the house tonight with my dog, felt like I should be doing something important. Could have put my finger on it." David fucking Backes, the newest Boston Bruin who was brought in here for character reasons, okay? This fucking guy goes in front of the media and is like, "I'm disappointed by what Phil Kessel has to say." Are you fucking kidding me? First off, why do you care? Okay? If Phil Kessel is pissed off that he wasn't asked to play in this tournament, he has every right to be. He's a fucking 30-goal scorer. He's a Stanley Cup champion. He had a really good playoff run. And he should be on this roster. So for you to play incredibly poorly and then say that you're disappointed that he would come out and say something, maybe he's disappointed in watching you skate up and down the ice and play fucking terribly.
And not only did I love that Kessel tweet, I kissed my Kessel jersey before I went to bed. I love that Bobby Ryan jumped in afterwards, too. I don't remember his exact quote, but he was basically like, maybe when I learn to be more defensively responsible, I'll get a U.S., an invite from Team USA, which I thought was a great crack because that team was terrible defensively. And I know Bobby Ryan's not what he used to be, but he would have been better than the Ablocator.
Yeah. Well, I think we've established that most people who got snubbed for Team USA would be better than fucking Applicator. I actually don't have a problem with Team USA players being a little upset at Kessel because, as hilarious as it was and how much I loved it because I love shit like that, it was kind of a douchey thing to do. And people already don't like Kessel, so I'm kind of glad that he's just reveling in it now at this point. But I mean, like, Backus and Bobby Ryan and all the other players, they didn't make the roster. They didn't make them as bad as they were. Like, if they didn't put up as much effort as they could, then yeah, that's on them. I'm thinking, like, to the Olympics and to future World Cup of Hockeys and all that. If USA is a team and they're a group, then that'd be like, somebody on the Bruins calling out Chara for, letting somebody dance around him or something like that. So I don't have a problem with the players being pissed off at him. I also don't have a problem with Phil Kessel tweeting it out, though.
No, the players disrespected themselves when they threw up on the ice against Team Canada.
I remember a quote now that we're talking, and I don't remember who it was, but they said something to the effect of, people are saying that we didn't come out and we didn't give our best against Canada, and that's not true. We did. Team Europe, that's a different conversation. We went out, we weren't ready to play, and then we lost. We were probably looking ahead to Canada. That is inexcusable. Like, I would have no problem with Team USA losing to Canada because, Christ, they're goddamn Team Canada. But for you to admit that you were not ready to play against Team Europe, a team that they should have beaten, that's just disgusting.
That's an excellent point. And if you were looking ahead to Canada, apparently not that much because you got your asses handed to you.
You know what I think might be the worst part of all this? The fucking hockey media in general. Ed Frankovic, I don't know who the fuck Ed Frankovic is, but apparently he covers the Caps in the NHL for WNST, whatever that is. This guy tweets out, Kessel and Ryan may think they're funny and shots at USA hockey management have merit, but they should have stayed quiet. They disrespected the players. It's like, look, it's like they made such a big deal about Team Canada and the way they played this whole tournament. They were ripe for criticism. And criticism is okay. And I just don't understand why David Backus is like, that's disrespectful and I'm agitated by that. Well, you know what? We're agitated because we watched you guys puke on your shoes against Canada and fucking Europe and all those other teams. It's just like the U.S. was an embarrassment in this tournament. And now the guys like, Dean Lombardi and Tortorella doing damage control. But it's like, look, you majorly screwed up. You put a horrible roster together. Take ownership of it. Yes, I put a bad roster together. Next tournament we're going to work to be better. And fucking move on from it. But they can't do that. They need to defend themselves, and we all know how hockey people are. They don't take accountability very well. That is that. Any other thoughts about the World Cup of Hockey? Actually, the main thought, are you enjoying it? We haven't even mentioned that. Are you enjoying it?
I am. I can't tell yet if I'm enjoying it because it's actually good hockey or if I'm just excited that there's actually live hockey being played. But like I said, with Team North America, I'm really enjoying seeing the youth in the NHL. These kids are this good already. It's gonna be a lot of good times in the coming years watching all these kids play. But I think it's been a fun tournament so far. I mean, I think you could tell some of these players don't necessarily care. It just seems to be about this. It's definitely it's certainly not the Olympics. The Olympics, these guys go all out. A lot of these guys you can see, they kind of coasting a little bit, but why do they really? I guess I can understand not putting it all on the line for when the season starts in 2 weeks. So I think that hurts the level of play a little bit, but overall, I think it's been fun.
I mean, look at Tyler Seguin. He's probably going to miss the beginning of the season.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to hurt Dallas. With the amount of injuries, even in the couple of the first, or I think it was the first or second, one of the Team USA Canada preliminary games before the games counted, just the amount of headshots or boarding calls. I wonder if teams are going to be reluctant to send their players to this in the future or discourage this.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, but I don't think it's the best product it could be, for a lot of the reasons that you guys just said. Also, ESPN is the fucking worst. I can't stand them. I can't stand to hear them talk about hockey. I would have been much happier if it was on NBC or really anywhere else. But yeah, I'm enjoying the play, but I'm not enjoying the product.
I had the same thing. I got sick of watching on ESPN commentary, so I switched to a Canadian feed, and I just went just a bit because John Terry's a pile of shit. Apparently, everybody loves him. Oh, he used to coach the Bruins, lunch pail game. He's a pile of shit. He knows jack shit about hockey. He knows even less about suits. I forget he was talking about last night, but he goes like, "Oh, this guy's got some Irish in him. I don't know why he's not playing for the Bruins." Oh, I'm sorry. He should be playing in Boston just because he has some Irish. Your talent evaluate. Did you help put together Team USA, Don? The shit that comes out of that guy's. Oh, this guy one time back-talked his mother when he was 6. He shouldn't be in the NHL. Go to hell, Don Cherry. I hope someone sets your suits on fire while you're wearing them.
Oh, man.
That is fucking played, though, the whole Don Cherry suit thing. Like, it's not funny anymore.
No.
It wasn't really all that funny when he was doing it, but at least it was kind of, like, unique and different, and now it's just played. It's done.
It's all done. And, like...
You can't even understand anything that comes out of his mouth now. The guy's essentially a vegetable. He's my second favorite vegetable after Terry Schiavo.
Jesus Christ. You are on fire tonight. I love it. All right. I don't remember. I have been enjoying the tournament. I'm still riding the Team Europe train. Toot, toot. Still riding that fucking train. Taking it all the way to the bank. Because I said 2 weeks ago, I was like, I'm on the Team Europe train. Because honestly, I just picked them because I thought they'd be fucking terrible. Okay? I thought they were going to be really bad when you looked at the roster. Like Chara and Seidenberg and Roman Josi, who has not played well this tournament. Chara has played better than Roman Josi. And I will fight that to the death. Because I don't think Josi has played well. And they just weren't a great team, and they're in the fucking dance. So, I'm sticking with Team Europe. Piz, I don't know, you're obviously going to stick with Team North America? And John?
North America.
I'm Team North America, but see, this tournament's also confusing for me. Because I love Bergeron and Marchand so much. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let them add to their treasure chest. I will say, my absolute favorite part of this tournament so far has been people reluctantly falling in love with Brad Marchand. You pop on Twitter right now, people who usually hate him just because he's a Bruin, and yeah, he is a little bit of a shitbag, but he's our shitbag. We'd hate him if he was on any other team. But just the amount of Marchand love, people just on the stage and him playing as well as we saw him play last season. I know Piz isn't a big Marchand fan, but I just love like Montreal Canadiens fans just reluctantly saying good things about Brad Marchand because he's wearing a Team Canada crest on his jersey. It's been lovely. I think we chatted about this a little bit on Twitter last night. That was really super fucked with my brain, watching Carey Price get run by Alligator and then Marchand come over and defend him. I was so confused.
He was probably just asking him where he hit him so he can fucking run him during the season.
And then after that, Carey Price like, no, don't worry, buddy. Thanks for coming to my rescue. But they're basically hugging him like, no, this isn't supposed to happen.
Up is down, black is white. Should we talk about the Bruins? Do you want to do a little Bruins talk?
Do a little Bruins talk. Preseason does start next week. We probably should.
So preseason does start next week, which is going to be weird to watch when there's like, a bunch of nobodies skating around.
That's kind of what preseason is anyways, though. That's
true. Aside from the defense, any areas you think the Bruins need to improve?
What everybody talks about how good their power play was last year. What people don't talk about is how in the second half teams kind of figured it out and it started failing. I don't want to say miserably, but it wasn't great. And then, so that's a little concern. That's a concern of mine. I don't think they'll be as offensively gifted as they were last year. That shocked me all season. When they came out firing that well offensively, I was like, this is going to die off eventually. There's no way their offense is this good. And then they rode it the whole season. I don't see them replicating that. It's such a weird roster right now. I think the loss of Louis will hurt them a little more than people think. He wasn't my favorite player, but he was really good in the role. I don't think he ever got enough credit just because of who he was traded for. I think people automatically hated him because he wasn't Sagan. Unless you were one of those idiots who's a Sagan hater, then, you just don't know what a good hockey player is. But
there are those out there.
Apparently people don't understand. They still look at 2013 and say, "Oh, Sagan did nothing in the playoffs." He led the team in shots and just had a really poor shooting percentage over a stretch. The kid's a generational talent. You can go to hell if you don't like Tyler Sagan.
For me, the top line, I feel bad for Krejci. I know we had those comments before about all of his, people who he gets chemistry with moving on, but I think that we're going to have a really strong bottom two forward lines, and the second line, if you can call it that, with how Claude runs his lines with Bergeron and Marchand together, that's going to be fine too. But I'm interested to see what's going to happen on the Krejci line. And I mean, if that's supposed to be our offensive line, I don't think it's going to produce nearly what we need it to. So, yeah, I'd say that's my concern.
Yeah, my biggest concern is going to be filling the 30-goal spot for Louis Eriksson. Excuse me. So, Eriksson obviously traded from Dallas for Sagan, and the only piece of that trade left, Joe Morrow. And he had his concussion, 2 concussions, right? Did he have 2 that year, or just one major concussion?
I don't know.
I don't remember, but I've also had a lot of concussions, so that could be why.
Anyway, he had his concussions. He came back last year. He had a really good year, and then he's gone. Okay, so either you're going to get Pasternak, Krejci, Backes, or you're going to get Bolesky, Krejci, Pasternak. And it's just all of his guys are gone. So that Louis Eriksson spot, and just like you said, Piz, that Louis Eriksson spot and that whole line is definitely a big question mark. David Krejci himself is a big question mark. He's got the hips of an 80-year-old. There was a rumor from a very good source of mine. This is legit. I'm not making up. A very good source of mine who is well in tune with players. The big concern with David Krejci was he had a degenerative hip. And this was 3 years ago I was told this. So when he signed his deal, people were very shocked by it. And now you're seeing that his hips have been a problem. So that whole line is going to be an issue, and David Krejci and his future might be an issue, because if he needs his 3rd hip surgery next offseason, I mean, he's 20, he's probably 30 now, or 29 or something like that. So, yeah, that's definitely going to be the problem, but I think center is their biggest strength.
Yeah, it has been too for a while in terms of the forward lines, and which has also kind of been a pain point of me, because they keep consistently building at center, and they just kind of let everything else go.
Yeah, they love their centers, man. They love them.
I know some people are down on the Backes signing, and as much as I love him, I do think it was a bit of an overpayment, but I think his versatility will help them. If Krejci does miss time, he can shift right back to center. I'm a little concerned what will happen with Spooner. I feel in his third line center role last season, I thought he played fairly well, but the Bruins love shifting centers to wing that don't usually play wing, again like what they did with Sagan. And I don't see Spooner being as effective at wing as he is at center. So if you have Krejci and Bergeron down the middle, supposedly the plan is to sometimes play Backes as a center on the third line, which you can't play Spooner on the fourth line. So so if you're shifting to win, I think you're taking a little bit away there. Like you said, there's just way too many. I want to see what they do with the center situation. You have way too many of them on the roster. What's going to happen? I mean, there's also rumors every day that Spooner's being dangled as part of a package to get some defensive help. So too, maybe that won't even be an issue. I don't know. But we'll see what happens. I guess in preseason.
I love their centers. Krejci, I can do without Krejci, but he's good for this team. Bergeron, obviously. Backes, if he plays center, is going to be a big addition, and I think he will to start the season because I don't think Krejci is going to start the season. That's just, I don't know anything. That's just my personal assumption. I love Noel Acciari from, when he played in Providence College. I thought he played well last year. I think he's going to play wing because I think Dominic Moore is going to play center. Another signing I don't understand. The fuck's that kid's name? Riley Nash, I think, is a center, but I'm not 100% sure. So there's definitely a logjam at center because they love to bring their centerman in, just like John said, move him to the wing. So if if Dominic Moore gets fucking booted out of the spot, another center can come in and pick up the face-off duties. They are loaded at center, but they are weak on the wings. And that has been the story of the Boston Bruins since 2010, 2011.
That's the thing. Instead of bringing in a bunch of centers and trying to convert them to wings, why don't you, sign wings? Although, speaking of wings, I am very curious to see how well Pasternak does this season. That's something I am legitimately excited for. I mean, the skill with him is obviously there. These kids don't always put that together, obviously. But, people in the know are saying he's bulked up a little bit over the summer. I thought I had read that he has been training in Boston, under the Bruins' guidance. So who knows if that's good or bad. I'm very excited to see what he did. He's got a little bit more experience under his belt. Stronger, a little more confidence. So I think he'll be exciting to watch this season at least. It's going to be a long, miserable season in my opinion. Very frustrating, but I think he'll be one of the lone bright spots.
The more frustrating it is, the better it is for us.
Exactly.
Yeah, I kind of see this as this is kind of shitty to say about a 20-year-old or whatever, but however old he is, I think he might be 22 or whatever. I kind of see this as his either make or break year. He's either gonna break out and be that first line right winger that Boston thought he was gonna be when they drafted him, or he's just gonna be in line of another potential overreach for the Bruins. I feel like this is his year to really either step up or whatever. But I'm interested to see because I hope he does well. I love the kid. I think he's awesome. He's rocking the Sagan sleeves, the tattoo sleeves. I don't know if you guys saw that. But he's rocking the tattoo sleeves, which means next season he's probably getting traded. But yeah. Anything else about the Boston Bruins? Because we're going to cover a lot of it in a couple weeks because we'll be in the thick of things. And the season is 22 days away. 22 days away.
Sean Thornton.
They are Sean Thornton days away.
No, I think that's good for the Bruins for now. We got plenty to talk about coming up.
To talk about the Bruins.
I'm gonna save all my anger and Bergeron boners for when it matters.
So many sweet Bergeron boners.
Could you get your Crosby boners out of your system before the season starts, please?
I'll try, but no. I mean, how good do Bergeron and Crosby and Marchand look together, though? Oh, that line is absolute pleasure.
It's fucking incredible, dude. Sidney Crosby could make the three of us taped together in one jersey look amazing. Because he would just put passes on our stick. And
I know Bruins fans hate him. Oh, he whines. That's great. I will take someone who whines if they're that skilled on my team any day.
See, I think we've hit the point in Sidney Crosby's tenure that people just hate him because he's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exactly what they're going to do to McDavid.
Yeah, well,
Instead of enjoying that kid for the talent that he is, that everybody's just going to hate him because.
That's the NHL's fault because they take the player and shove him down your throat.
Oh yeah,
because it was Ovechkin too. Because I still fucking hate Ovechkin, and that's the reason why. And he's amazing, and I know he's amazing. I just can't get on the fucking Ovechkin train.
So I think me and Piss had this conversation. I used to hate Ovechkin when he first came to the NHL. I despised him. And it could just be because I don't like the Capitals. But then over the years, I slowly got to just, realize he's an amazing player. He's ridiculously fun to watch. I don't think people have gotten there with Crosby yet. That's how I feel about Ovechkin. If you sit down and just actually watch the guy, you're like, all right, you know what? I should shut my mouth. He's an amazing talent, first ballot Hall of Famer, in my opinion.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
It's just.
I don't think we'll ever get there with Crosby. At least in Boston, there's a little bit too much of a history and hatred with the Penguins for us to get there. I'm still not a Crosby fan. I can appreciate the talent, but of him, still not a fan. But I will say I have seen him evolve into less of a whiner, more of a leader. So props to him for that.
The worst. All right, that is it for the optional skate, everyone. Thank you so much for checking us out. John, where can the good people find your trashy takes on the internet?
I always forget my Twitter name because I've neglected it so much. I think it's John F. DOI. I think John DOI was taken.
It's fucking taken by a guy that doesn't use it.
I messaged him a few times just to see if we could, I could give him like a couple pennies or some nudes. But he never got back to me.
I'm looking for him right now, and I don't even think John DOI is there anymore. It just comes up as you.
Maybe I'll steal it.
You should steal it. Rob, how about you?
You can find me on Twitter at RobbPizDOI. That's 2 B's, 2 Z's. ROBBPIZZDOI.
Love it. I just shades of Jeff Jarrett. I love it. And you can find me at PezDOI, and you can follow us on Twitter at Days of Yore, all one word, no apostrophe. And well, Canada just scored again, so it's a wrap for Team Europe. It's I think 3-0. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. This has been the Optional Skate. It has been our pleasure. Hopefully, you've enjoyed listening to it, and we will see you when we see you.